Hello, everybody.
All right, this is State of Kansas versus Elizabeth Reddick, 22 CR 21. The state appears by Jill Gillette, County Attorney. And are you Elizabeth Reddick?
Not a lot happens in this hearing,
Ms. Reddick?
except you get to see her close up.
Hello?
Yes, and you're Elizabeth Reddick, is that correct?
Yes, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
All right, thank you. This matter was set for a termination of parental rights. Mr. House is counsel on this matter. I've been advised that Mr. House there was a medical situation that for a family member that he needed to be at this morning. So that's why he is not in attendance. In conversations with the clerk, he indicated that March 6th at 10:30 appears to be workable. Will that work for the state?
Reddick.
March 6th at 10:30, I am in a appointment with my foster son, Judge. I could do 9 or 9:30, and we have 2 statuses at 11. I'd be available at 11:30.
Judge,
Yes.
I looked at the calendar a little bit more on that. Could we do 2 o'clock? Mr. House does have a 2:30 hearing, so that might be.
2 o'clock would be fine for the state.
All right, let's set that for March the 6th at 2 p.m. All right, Ms. Reddick, you are to appear at the Elk County Sheriff's Office for that hearing. It'll be a Zoom hearing, but you need to be there. I strongly recommend that you stay in contact with Mr. House. It sounds like you've been in contact with Mr. House, so that's good. Make sure he has a way of contacting you as well.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Mr. Bauer.
I believe you announced that this was for a termination of parental rights. It should be a warrant to show cause.
I didn't realize I'd made that statement. I'm sorry. That's been, I've been doing a lot of those in Butler County. So this apparently is just becoming automatic for me to say that. You're correct. This is in regards to state's motion for revocation of probation. So thank you for that correction. Very well. But if there's nothing further, we'll be adjourned.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
And now her update.
This would be State of Kansas versus Elizabeth Reddick, case number 22 CR 21. Would counsel state their appearances, please?
May it please the court, the state appears by Jill Gillette, County Attorney.
Your Honor, the defendant, Elizabeth Reddick, appears by Zoom from the sheriff's office. And I'm Gary House representing her in the case. I appear from my office in Sedan.
Very well. Thank you. This matter is set for a warrant to show cause. There's a couple of continuances based upon Mr. House family situation and the defendant being given a different date by sheriff's personnel when there has already been a court appearance, but she has appeared and she appears today as directed. Are the parties ready to proceed on the motion?
We are, Your Honor.
And I talked with the county attorney this morning, and I know that she's ready to go ahead. And if we have to go ahead, I'm ready. I did talk with my client a couple times last week. I still need to get some information from her, but I'll leave that to the court. You know, you mentioned that there may have been 2 continuances to this point, and I don't intend to clutter up the docket. If we've got to go ahead today, we will. If we can set it off a couple of weeks, I'd be ready then.
Ms. Gillette?
Judge, we're ready to proceed with this matter.
All right, and looking at the motion, it's pretty straightforward. Mr. House, if you need some time with your client, I'll approve a breakout room so you can discuss this with her.
I think we can go ahead, Judge. I appreciate the offer. I did talk with her between 1:30 and 2 o'clock.
All right,
By phone.
very well. All right, Ms. Gillette, you may call your first witness.
CSO Bauer.
Mr. Bauer, if you raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. You're under oath. Counsel, you may proceed.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Anthony Bauer.
And how are you employed?
I am employed at the 13th Judicial Court Services Office.
And are you supervising Miss Reddick?
Yes.
And when was she put on your caseload?
Ms. Reddick was originally put on my caseload April 25th of 2022.
And when she was put on with you, did she come in and sign conditions of probation?
She did sign conditions of probation. I don't remember if that was done in person or electronically.
Okay. And was she supposed to be routinely meeting with you?
Yes.
We had a prior revocation hearing in this matter. Do you recall the date of that?
Yes, it was originally set for October of 2022, then it got continued to later in October and then continued to December 12th of 2022.
And the results of that, did she have a sanction and was reinstated for a new 12-month term?
Correct. She had a sanction, was put back on probation for 12 months from December 19th of 2022.
Now, I note that there are two, an original and an updated warrant to show cause. When did you file your original request for revocation of probation and
The
warrant?
original warrant was filed July 13th of 2023.
And was she reporting to you as required?
No, she was not.
Did she, when was the last time you saw her during that time period?
The last communication I had with her as far as reporting was in June of 2023, and I believe that was by email. The last actual in-person, give me just a second. Correction, May was the last time I had contact with her by email. I have not had an in-person with her since before that revocation. We were doing some phone visits, and then the in-person that I had set for her, she missed.
Okay. And did she ever provide you information about employment?
She reported she was working, but when I asked for proof for documents, check stubs and stuff, she never did provide me any proof. And then when I confirmed with where she stated she was working, they stated she'd worked there for 2 weeks, and she reported she'd been working there for just over 2 months, I believe it was.
Okay. Was that at Cobalt Boats?
Yes.
Okay. And then did she comply with coming in for any of her UAs?
No, I had the in-person meeting set.
If I might interject here, we're talking about things that happened earlier in the case, which have been dealt with by a sanction on December the 9th, 2023. Shouldn't we be looking at what's happened since then?
No, the sanction was in 2022, Mr. House.
Okay,
She,
I thought the testimony was 12/12/23, but I stand corrected.
she was absconded for May on of 23.
Well, as I understand the dates, is these are for things after the prior revocation hearing or post revocation hearing, correct?
Yes.
That's all right. You may proceed.
All right. And did she ever bring you in any verification she had applied for disability?
No,
And now those were the allegations in the original warrant to show cause. Did you file an addendum to that warrant to show cause?
I did file an addendum.
Let's talk about the addendum to the warrant to show cause. Now, did you try to get in touch with individuals that might have an address or location for Miss Reddick?
I did contact, I had contact with the undersheriff in Wilson County, and asked him to check the address that I had on file for her, that she had reported to me where she was living.
Was anyone able to find her for you?
No,
And then did you have contact with Montgomery County trying to find her?
I spoke with a court service officer out of Montgomery County that was looking for her as well.
And did he have a valid address that could locate her?
He had a couple addresses, but he wasn't sure if they were valid or not. He'd actually contacted me to see if I had what address I had on file.
And so has she contacted you since she has bonded out of jail?
No, she has not.
And has she provided you with any UA since she has bonded out of jail?
No, she has not.
Did she ever provide you with a complete drug and alcohol evaluation that was a condition of her probation?
I did get the drug and alcohol evaluation. There was no recommendations. However, she was not honest in that evaluation.
Okay. And what knowledge did you have that she didn't disclose to the evaluator?
I am shocked.
The evaluation shows that she admitted to use of phentermine for diet purposes, but she tested positive for phentermine and methamphetamine. She did not report to them the methamphetamine use. She also admitted to me the methamphetamine use, which those were part of the prior revocation.
And do you feel that Ms. Reddick is amenable to probation?
No, I'm having the exact same problems with her that we had in the first revocation. She's not showing up, and then she just completely disappears. She's not reporting changes in addresses. She moves all the time, but never reports changes in addresses. She's not working. She's not providing proof that she's looking for work. She's not providing proof of disability. It's the exact same problems we were having over a year ago.
Your Honor, I will pass this witness to the defense.
Mr. House?
Mr. Bauer, some of these things may be out of order, but I'll take them up. You indicated that she had provided no UAs since when?
She has not provided any UAs since she was released from jail in December of 2022. Most of our contacts have been through phone. I scheduled for her in person so I could do a UA, and she failed the report.
Yeah, you can't take a UA if you don't show up.
So did you ever specifically ask her for a UA?
No, because she never arrived here for me to ask her.
Okay. Had she ever failed a UA?
In her prior revocation, there was a failure.
One failure?
I would have to go back and look. I don't remember if it was just one.
Now, where does she stand on the costs and any fines in this case?
I believe that is all paid in full at this point.
Do you have a record as to when it was paid?
At the last revocation, she had everything paid, I believe, except for the last UA. And then she paid that shortly after getting out, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Now, she was arrested at some time on this show cause motion. Do your records show when that was?
I don't have a record that shows when that was.
Would
It
that have
was-
been this year?
Yeah, it was within the last month and a half.
Okay. And she served about 20, 21 days in jail
I
up
am
to the
not,
time she bonded out?
I'm not certain how long she spent in jail.
Okay. So she worked at Cobalt for a time and in a short time, relatively short time. Is that your record showing maybe about 2 weeks?
That's what Cobalt reported to me, was that she worked for
Okay.
2 weeks.
Did you ever have any discussions with her about that work and why she couldn't continue doing it?
She reported that she was working there for 2 months, roughly 2 months. She reported every month that she was working there. And then when I asked her for proof of employment, check stubs, the very next meeting, she told me that she had to quit the job because she was unable to do it, which would have been almost 2 months after she actually left the job.
Right. And what reason did she give for being unable to do it?
She just said she was physically unable to do it.
Okay. She's talked with you. You mentioned that you haven't been provided, or at least the county attorney asked if you'd been provided with any proof of applications for Social Security disability insurance. Has she talked with you about applications for Social Security disability insurance?
She told me that she was applying for it at the last meeting that we had, phone meeting we had. She told me she was applying for disability, and then she hasn't
Okay.
reported since that day.
Okay. So you don't know what how that application's turned out, and sometimes those are pretty slow, aren't they?
They can be very slow.
All right. So if she bonded out sometime after the first of the year, after serving, we're going to say about 20, 21 days, and she'll testify as to that. And I think the county attorney's got information on that. The drug and alcohol evaluation, you said there were no recommendations. Is that from Fort County Mental Health?
Yes.
And you're saying that maybe she didn't give them information about a methamphetamine use?
Correct. It did not. The only thing it reflected was I believe it was phentermine use that she admitted
Okay.
to.
And when was that? When did you get the results of that evaluation? If you know.
I don't remember the exact day that I got it. I'm looking to see. It shows that it was done the 14th of February last year, 2023.
Okay. So she at least had done a drug and alcohol evaluation at that point, and she had paid off all her costs.
Correct.
So the big problem is not reporting and not reporting address changes. Is that a fair statement?
Not reporting, not providing proof of employment, not reporting her address changes.
I really love how he tried to minimize that for a second. So the real problem is just that she's not reporting. That's really the only problem, isn't it? That's a big problem.
Okay. And she served 1 5-day sanction to this point.
She did serve a sanction. I don't remember.
Was that the December 22
Yeah,
sanction that I got mixed up with 23?
yes.
Okay.
It looks like she was put in custody on December 19th and was ordered to be released on December 24th.
Okay.
So 5 days.
So, you indicate there's some reporting by telephone. Is that still continuing on a various basis from time to time because of what we started in COVID?
Well, we did a lot during COVID by phone. And now it's kind of up to us, depending upon their supervision level and stuff, whether we have them call in or what. I was trying to do it more out of convenience because she didn't live here. So rather than making her find a ride or drive all the way back for all of her meetings, I was doing phone call visits.
Judge, I think that's all the questions I have of Mr. Bauer.
Any redirect, Ms. Gillette?
Mr. Bauer, was there any questions Mr. House asked that you'd like to explain further?
Not that I can think of.
The state will, Your Honor.
Well, state rest, Mr. Bauer, you're off the witness stand at this time. Mr. House, any witnesses?
Yes, I want to call Ms. Reddick.
Ms. Reddick, if you'd raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. You're under oath. You may proceed, counsel.
All right, Ms. Reddick, you've heard the testimony of Mr. Bauer, your probation officer.
Yes.
And there's a testimony about a job at Cobalt that lasted approximately 2 weeks. Is that correct?
Yes. And when I got fired, I was trying to apply for disability. I was trying to get moving on that with something before, because I didn't want to be in trouble for losing my job. So I was trying to somehow get my disability moving. I have been unable to do that by myself. I was denied. I'm currently trying to find an attorney to take that over to help me, because it's a hard process to do.
So you haven't been represented in your application for your initial application for Social Security disability?
No, I've just tried to get it myself.
What is your disability?
I have pins and screws holding my pelvis, my right hip, and my right arm together. I will eventually need to have my entire right hip replaced. It's gotten to the point now where I have difficulty walking. I can't stand or sit for long periods of time. I can't lift. My primary job is I've been a CNA most of my life. I worked in nursing homes most of my life, and I physically, I can't physically do it anymore. And it's become hard.
When you're working in nursing homes and so forth, you have to lift patients and so forth, don't you?
Yes, by yourself or with, they do have machinery that assists in that, sometimes, but I physically can't do it, anymore, because if a patient or a resident were to fall, and I were to fall with them, I could potentially break my hip. So it's a risk to both of us.
Did you mention have you had previous operations or?
Yes, I had to see a specialist in 2017 when it happened. I haven't had it replaced yet. I've seen a specialist a few times about it. They basically said it's up to me when I need to have it replaced. It's how much pain tolerance I can take. I've also seen Dr. Meister, I believe his name is, out of Parsons. A couple times. He said it's too complicated for him, that I would have to actually see my specialist, which is, about 6 hours away. I don't have a license or a vehicle, so it's, hard for me to get there to see that specialist. It's been kind of difficult because doctors don't, if it's too complicated, they just kind of push it off to the next doctor, so it's kind of hard to get
Okay,
help.
well, if it's too complicated for Dr. Meister, it must be pretty complicated. So what was your problem in working at Cobalt then? Being on your feet all day?
Yes, it got to the point where my family members, when I got off work, would have to physically carry me. I would get in a bath because it hurt, and they would have to physically pick me out of the bath. And being, 35, 34 years old, that's kind of humiliating. It's it doesn't make you feel good. When you
How old are you
do
now?
anything.
How old?
I'm 35. And they said that I would need my hip replaced. And then I would probably have to have another couple more surgeries. As the technology they have, it can wear down and need replaced after anywhere from 7 to 10 years, I think it is. I'm not 100% sure.
All right. And you've been denied in your initial application, is that right?
Yes,
Which is not uncommon. And you're trying to find an attorney who handles these type of cases.
yes.
And you've
I've
even
been
asked
looking
me
online,
for
but I can't
information on
find
that.
anything state-wise.
Have you asked me for information about an attorney?
Yes,
I still haven't been able to find one in this area that does those, but you're trying to do something about it. That's what I'm getting at.
yes.
Now, you did some reporting by telephone?
Yes, and the day that I missed, it was supposed to be in person. I called Mr. Bauer, I believe it was on a Tuesday, and I told him that I did not have transportation. I was trying to get transportation. He told me to try to be there Thursday. I tried to call him, I believe Thursday and Friday, and I couldn't get through to him, but I was unable to find transportation there. I didn't know about connections at the time. I do now. I know connections now. You can call 2 days ahead and they'll give you a ride to court or stuff like that. But at the time I didn't know about that. But I did call him the day I was supposed to report. I did call him and tell him that I did not have transportation. He told me to try to come in a couple days, and if I couldn't, to get a hold of him, and I just was unable to get a hold of him.
Where do you live now?
313 South Second, Neodesha, Kansas. I'm staying with my sister-in-law. The reason.
And you and your husband and the child that you and Mr. Chalmers have?
It's me and my daughter and my sister-in-law and her daughter right now living there.
Okay. How old's your daughter?
She's 8 years old.
And then you have any older children?
Yes, I have a 15-year-old son. He stays with his father during the week and stays with me on the weekends and during the summer.
Okay. How much time did you spend in jail this time when you were arrested on this new?
21 days, I believe.
Okay, do you know the dates?
I believe I got arrested on the January 30th, and I believe I got out on the 19th. I think it was the 19th. I'm not sure.
Okay, and you and I have discussed the importance of keeping in contact with your probation officer, haven't we?
Yes, and that is 100% my fault. I am dumb. I did not know that, since I'm being revocated, I didn't know I was supposed to check in with him this time when I got bonded out, because we were doing the revocation. I didn't know I was supposed to report. And like I told you before court, that I will meet with him anytime, especially now that I know about connections. I can meet with him anytime in person, even if it's every week. I can do that. I can make every meeting now that I'm more stable, and now that I know about connections, I can make any meeting I need to now.
And if you submitted to UA today at the sheriff's office, would you test clean?
Yes. And about the Fort County, I told them, like I told Mr. Bauer, yes, I was taking the amphetamine for my friend. It had ran out. She had given me a capsule with something else in it. I'm assuming it was methamphetamines. And like I told him, that is not something I normally do. And I was stupid and I shouldn't have done it. But I did tell the lady that I did my report at Fort County about that. But I don't know if maybe she didn't put it in there because I told her it was just that one capsule that I took. So I did tell them about that in my Fort County evaluation.
Is there anything else you want to tell the court?
Just that I know I've messed up. I am trying to be better. I'm trying to be a mom. I'm trying to be stable. And I know that people come in here and they say that to you guys all the time and they let you down. And if you give me one more chance, I won't disappoint you. I am doing everything I can to be a mom and be a good person and be what I need to do. And I promise you that if you give me another chance, I will not disappoint you. And also when I got arrested back in December, I did take a UA before court that day and I did pass it that time. It wasn't requested by Mr. Bauer, though. I believe it was Judge Lee that requested it that time. But I did pass that UA.
All right, no further questions, Judge.
Ms. Gillette?
Judge, questions of the defendant, just arguments.
Very well, Ms. Reddick, you are off the witness stand at this time. Mr. House, any additional witnesses?
No, there'll be no additional witnesses.
Very well, I'll hear statements of counsel in regards to findings, suggested findings. Ms. Gillette?
Judge, this is her second revocation. On her first revocation, we heard all the same things. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. I've learned my lesson. It's explained to me that I need to meet with my probation officer. We've heard it all before. Ms. Reddick is not serious about her probation. She has chosen not to do anything about it. Had she been reporting after she bonded out, tried to get a hold of Mr. Bauer from July of 23 up until she was arrested in January, made one effort to try to not be an absconder, this would be a different story. But Ms. Reddick misled Mr. Bauer about her employment when he went to confirm it with the employer. It wasn't truthful. She goes to have a drug and alcohol evaluation, doesn't tell him about her positive methamphetamine. She wants to blame it on a friend giving her a pill. She's not doing her UAs. She was due to have a UA done in person and to come and report to Mr. Bauer in person so we could get a UA on her. She doesn't show and she absconds. You know, she's made absolutely no efforts to stay reporting to Mr. Bauer consistently throughout this probation. We have given her extra chances. She moved around and Mr. Fabrizius couldn't find her either from Montgomery County. And he called Mr. Bauer looking for her. So when they spoke, there was no address for her that could be found where she could even be picked up or arrested or located. And so essentially has been intentionally non-compliant in her probation. She's not amenable to probation. She's not amenable to treatment for any kind of issues that she has. She's provided no verification of any kind of disability stuff to Mr. Bauer, nor has she even made an effort to pick up the phone and even call him, email him, nothing. So I would ask that she serve her underlying term, be given credit for the time that she had in for her sanction, any original time, and the time between her arrest and her bond on this show cause that issued in July that she was picked up on January. It's the state's estimate. She had 20 days. She was arrested on the 19th, and she bonded on, I believe it was February. I'm looking for her bond here. February 19th is when she was bonded, and she was arrested on January 30th, I believe, 29th or 30th. And we put the dates in the journal entry when it would be prepared, but our ask for her is that she
Mr. House, we're getting some background noise from your.
I'm getting some background noise too, and I'm gonna go out and get it stopped.
Oh, thank you.
That her arrest date was 1:30.
Let's wait for Mr. House to return.
The joys of working from home.
I apologize, Your Honor. That was my middle son talking to my wife, so.
I've been there, done that. Thank you very much. Mr. Lett, you may continue.
Her arrest was 1:30 of 23. She essentially absconded after May and never showed back up until January. We have 7 months of intentional non-compliance. She essentially has just made excuses for her behavior, but it's just intentional non-compliance.
Thank you. Mr. House?
Your Honor, position is that the evidence appears to show that early on she paid all her costs in this case. So that's to her credit.
That's his best argument.
As we know, sometimes costs are the last thing paid. She did do drug and alcohol counseling and or drug and alcohol evaluation at Fort County Mental Health. And we've heard testimony concerning that, but she did go there and she did get that done. Testimony is she worked at Cobalt for about 2 weeks and had to, they may have terminated her.
May have.
But she testified that she wasn't able to do the work, and she explained the medical conditions that she has, which didn't allow her to do that kind of physical work anymore. She testified about applying for Social Security disability. She represented herself on the initial application, which many people do. She was denied Social Security disability coverage. That is something that happens on many occasions, and then generally people will have to find an attorney who specializes in this type of work to pursue an appeal, which many times is results in a favorable decision to the applicant. And she's in that process. There's no testimony about any new criminal charges that she's had. or any new criminal cases that she's had. The testimony is pretty clear that she had her first sanction of 5 days in December of 2022. We know that the new, what I always call a motion to revoke probation, but was commenced sometime early this year. She was arrested late in January, served until the 19th. I think she was arrested January the 30th. I think that's the testimony. And served 21 days in jail before she made bond on February the 19th. So admittedly, she has not reported to Mr. Bauer like she should have. And I've talked with her about that. I do think she would make an effort to do so now, realizing the importance of it. We would request that rather than revoke her on what I think is a 12-month sentence for interference with a law enforcement officer in a misdemeanor, originally, that she'd be ordered to serve a 30-day sanction. We would hope that she got credit for that 21 days, but if she didn't and had to require a full additional 30-day sanction, then place her back on probation for 12 months, and with the understanding this is her last chance. But it's not uncommon to have more than one sanction in a misdemeanor case. So that's our request here today.
Thank you. Ms. Reddick, is there any personal statement you wish to make before I announce my decision?
Yes, Your Honor, I just want to say, I know I messed up. I wasn't in a good place. I'm a single mom. I'm all my daughter has. Her father is not, I can't rely on him to take care of her. It's taken me a long time to realize that. And I know that you hear this all the time from people, but if you give me one more chance, I won't let you down. I can't let you down. I don't want to lose my daughter. I'm trying to be a better mom. I'm trying to be a better person. I will do anything and everything if you tell me to report every single day, I will report every single day. I will show you that I will make whatever effort I need to. And I know you hear that all the time, but I promise if you just give me this chance, I will prove to you that I won't disappoint you.
Thank you. I do find that the defendant has violated the terms of her probation by failing to report as directed. And in short, that's pretty much, you can't do many of the things that are required on probation. When you don't report, the officer can't get you for a UA or have that done. The defendant says, well, she knows I hear this all the time, and she's right, but I've also heard it from her before, these same assurances. And looking through the file, there was, it seems to just be the pattern that she goes through. And so I make it a practice to explain to defendants that when they're placed on probation, that if they don't comply with the terms of their probation, they're basically telling me they're willing to serve their time, take that risk. Certainly when I placed her back on probation after a 21-day sanction, 21 days is not a light time, but it didn't get your attention because almost, in the same time frames, very shortly thereafter, not reporting again. And it's not just like you're missing a meeting, then you show back up. You're gone for months, and you leave different ones. So I don't believe that you are a good candidate for probation. You've demonstrated that. When you're placed on probation, that is your chance to show yourself. Now you're asking for a third chance, and I'm not doing that. The defendant has done some of the things that were ordered in regards to it. They're getting an evaluation, and that was not done originally. It came later. Their testimony in regards to suspicion in regards to whether or not she was completely honest with the evaluator. But I'm going to, for the things that she did, I am going to modify the sentence somewhat.
So does
And
she.
There was originally is a 1-year underlying sentence. She'll get credit for any time served on this case. I'm going to reduce the sentence down to 10 months minus whatever she's had. So I'm taking off basically 60 days, modifying the sentence in that regard. But she is remanded to the sheriff's office to complete her sentence.
Your Honor, then the 10-month sentence would
She'll get credit for whatever time she served already.
whatever time you
Will
serve,
be
including that
subtracted from
21
the 10
days.
months. She had originally 12 months, so.
All right.
All right. Anything further, counsel? We are adjourned.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.